This is Loch Ness. It's early in the morning, and the mist is just starting to lift. For centuries, people have come to this remote Scottish lake seeking adventure, romance, and, of course, monsters. In 1933, a couple walking along the shore spotted something unusual in the water. At first, they thought it was a stranded whale, but as they watched, it dove under the surface and disappeared. Could it have been a gigantic serpent over 30 feet long? Well, that same year, a local newspaper ran this headline: Loch Ness Monster Mystery. Huge serpent bathed in moonlight, and ever since then, reports of strange creatures living in Loch Ness have continued. Over 1,000 sightings have been reported in total. But what do we actually know about the Loch Ness Monster? Let's go back to the beginning. This is an old photo of Loch Ness. It was taken sometime in the 1800s. Back then, the area around the lake was pretty wild. There were wolves, deer, foxes, and plenty of other animals to keep the locals on their toes. But there was also something else here. Something big, elusive, and very scary. In those days, most people lived in the small village of Drumnadrican, which sits on the eastern shore of the lake. People there lived simple lives. They worked the land, took care of their animals, and tried to stay out of trouble. That is until the monster started attacking them. It all started one night when a man was walking home from a pub. He was drunk and singing at the top of his lungs. Suddenly, he stopped dead in his tracks. In front of him in the moonlight, he saw something amazing, a huge serpent rising out of the water. It reared its head up high and let out a deafening roar. The man was so scared, he turned and ran. And that's when the monster struck. It lunged forward and grabbed him with its sharp teeth and claws. The man's screams echoed across the valley, but no one came to help. The monster had won again. That's just one of many stories like it. The villagers were terrified. They didn't know what to do, so they turned to the church for help. The local priest gathered everyone together and told them that they needed to fight back. He led them in a prayer, and they all agreed that they would not be afraid. They would stand up to the monster and protect their town. The next time the monster attacked, they were ready. A group of men armed with pitchforks and clubs stood on the shore and shouted at him. The monster hesitated, then slipped back into the water. The villagers had won. This is an old photo of the village of Drumnadrican. It was taken sometime in the late 1800s. By this time, the monster had been driven out of town, and the villagers could finally sleep soundly in their beds. But the monster wasn't gone for good. It lurked in the shadows of the forest, waiting for its chance to strike again. This is a photo of a 1,930 seconds newspaper. It tells the story of how the monster was finally caught. A group of scientists and adventurers set up camp on the shores of Loch Ness and began their investigation. They took photographs, collected evidence, and interviewed witnesses. And in the end, they had enough proof to convince the world that the monster was real. They released this grainy footage of a large, dark shape moving through the water. Some say it looks like a giant snake or a dinosaur. What do you think? The truth is, no one knows what this mysterious creature is. There have been so many sightings of the Loch Ness Monster that it is impossible to ignore them all. Something big and scaly is definitely living in Loch Ness, but exactly what that is, well, that remains a mystery. This is a sonar scan of Loch Ness. It shows a huge object lurking in the depths. Some believe it could be the Loch Ness Monster. Others say it's just a rock formation. This is a photo of a scientific lab. In recent years, scientists have used advanced technology to try and find the monster. They've scanned the lake with sonar, but so far they haven't found anything. Maybe the monster is hiding too deep. Maybe it doesn't exist at all. This is drone footage of Loch Ness. It shows the vast size of the lake and the surrounding mountains. The drone flies over the water, revealing the mist and the fog. The camera pans up to reveal the sky and the clouds. The drone flies over the water, revealing the mist and the fog. The camera pans up to reveal the sky and the clouds. This is a close-up of someone looking scared. This person is one of the many witnesses who have come forward with stories of the monster. Some people say they've seen it with their own eyes, while others say they've only heard rumors. But one thing's for sure, no one knows what's really out there. This is an interview with someone talking about the monster. The person is emotional and excited as they tell their story. They say that they believe the monster is real and that it's living in the lake. They say that they've seen it with their own eyes and that it is unlike anything they've ever seen before. So the question is, do you believe Nessie is real?